Okay, so let's talk about teacher productivity. And for teacher productivity, this is going to be the next one that we're going to be focusing on. So we just looked at content exploration, looking at how we can explore, review, and apply knowledge. And now we're going to go here and look at how do we complete teaching and or learning activities more efficiently. So this would be both the student, how are they using technology to do things a little bit more efficiently, and how are you as a teacher using technology to help you in that way as well. Um, so let's talk about a couple of different ways that you could use technology for productivity types of purposes. So the first one being pre-class. So before you even come to class, you as a teacher are planning lessons. And there are so many different things that you can do here. First of all, looking up different ideas for lesson plans or different resources that other teachers may have. That's a great thing to add in here. Creating worksheets, creating different things that your students would fill out, templates, all of these sorts of things. Anything that you would do before class in order to plan for lessons, that's something that teachers commonly use technology for. In class. So in class, technology can also be used to enhance your classroom management. So how do you record what's going on in class? How do you let students know, like, here are the different assignments that we have? A lot of the AIs in W200 will use the Canvas announcements tools. Some of us use Remind in order to let you know kind of what's going on. But then also, how do you facilitate learning with different resources? So, like students, if you ever took notes with Evernote, which is a great tool, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And then the last one is the post-class teacher task. So this is where you're doing grading and assessment, recording your different student records, and then also communicating with parents. So how do you kind of keep track of where your students are at, what they still need to work on? How do you adjust your own instruction? So we'll talk about that a little bit too, and that would be after class usually for types of teacher tasks. So productivity tools. There are a ton of different things that you can use in order to help you plan a lesson. So first of all, taking actual teacher resources. So if you go to BrainPop, they have all of these different activities that you can click on and explore. And many of them are free. At least your first one per day is free. So I highly encourage you to kind of go through there and look at that. Scholastic Teachers has a ton of different templates that you can look at and download. ReadWrite Think is another fantastic one, especially for English language arts. Microsoft Office templates, like things that you would have your students do, like a book report where they would download. Another great example, or Smartboard Exchange. So if you do have a smartboard in your, or Promethean board or anything else like that, that would be an interactive whiteboard, you can click on this and look at all the different things that are available for you to download that other teachers have already created. Okay, so those are options right there. And then we also show you Scholastic Teachers too, because that's a pretty fantastic one as well. So they have a lot of different tools like vocabulary and writing that you can download, or character scrapbooks. So a lot of great starters for you to use. And this would be similar to the different things that you found in Inspiration or Kidspiration. They had a lot of awesome templates as well. So you could even go and access a different teacher community. So Kathy Schrock's got a ton of different things that are available. The Teachers Pay Teacher website that we kind of talked about before, where teachers actually get money for this. So if you search for particular grade levels, there are things that you can buy that other teachers have created. Here are different clip arts that somebody has for free here that you could use and download, or sight word sticks for only $5.75. So you can kind of look at all these different resources that are available. A lot of them are free as well. And there are also publicly sponsored teacher resources. So like Illuminations is fantastic for mathematics, all the way from K through 12. They've got really great interactives, as well as different lesson plans and different ways to approach that. PBS Kids. So a lot of these are things that we kind of looked at as well when we were looking at the content exploration tools. But now, instead of looking at it from a teacher or from a student side, we're looking at it from a teacher's planning side. So like this one right here is different lesson plans that are available that you can go scroll through and look at. Another really great one, the Library of Congress for teachers, have a ton of different resources available for you for secondary social studies. And even in iTunes, and I'm hoping that this opens fine, iTunes University has a ton of different courses that you can download for free, so different podcasts and things like that that might be something that you look at or evaluate. So really looking at how can I utilize the different resources that are already available online to help me plan a lesson. Another really great thing that we have online is, so let's say that you do take your students to a particular website. How do you make sure that they can actually read that information? So let's go to this one. Let's see if we can find some resources here. So Encyclopedia of Life. Actually, I'm just going to go to Wikipedia. And I'm going to type in World War I. And let's go right down to here. So let's type in this information here so I can copy this. And I can come over here and paste up to 5,000 words of text. And I can check the readability. So it actually tells me here that's at a grade 13 level. So it's at a higher education level. So in order to actually read all this information and be able to process it, you would need to be in college in order to understand it. So think about the different places that you direct your students to and which websites are appropriate for them to look at. There's also, I think this goes to the same one. There's also, I think it's called Juicy website analysis reading level. Here it is, Juicy Studio. So on this one, you can actually take a URL. So let's take this again here, the URL for Wikipedia, and I can paste in here and calculate readability, and it should have something similar here. Where are my standards here? Okay, so for that website, it's not giving me the actual number, but for most websites, it should. Oh, this is why. Nope, and it's still not doing it. Okay, so let's continue on to productivity tools in class. And looking at this one, there are some really great QR codes that are available that you can go to, and QR codes are fantastic because it actually allows you to have shortcuts. And those shortcuts are great because they allow your students to automatically go to a web page without you actually having to know them. So there's like a little Creative Commons here. You've probably seen the different QR codes available. But the cool part is it automatically takes you to that website and you don't have to have students type it in. So this can really help with your classroom management piece. Some other things, they have like attendance forms, and also Class Dojo if you haven't checked that out yet. It's really fantastic. Let me show it to you actually. And I think I actually put in my desktop here. And so Class Dojo, it looks like this. So it looks like this. So you can add different points. It automatically creates monsters for them, but you can add positive and negative points. And it'll show you a summary. So out of the entire class, it looks like most things are positive, but here are a few things that are negative. It also shows you you can click on a particular student and they can tell you what are they doing with positive awards, what are they still struggling with. So this student is still struggling with disruption in side conversations. But basically you can add on your own different things, and then this sends a note to the parents as well. So that can also be beneficial. Another one that you can use is Google Classroom, which I think we'll actually talk about in the next one, but while I have this up, I'm going to show it to you. Google Classroom has a similar feel to Facebook, so it has kind of like news feeds that you can go through and add to. Here's another shot that looks what it looks like for students. So this would be similar to like your Canvas or OnCourse or Blackboard or whatever you tend to use for your class. There are some other great ones like Nearpod. So we use Nearpod in our class in order to do engagement activities. There's other ones called Seesaw, which are particularly fantastic for elementary school, and I advise that you go and see that, or ClassKick. You can do instant feedback, so today's Meet allows you to do like a back channel where you're chatting back and forth. Poll Everywhere allows you to have students actually text in their responses, and Kahoot allows you to, many of you have played Kahoot, it's a different game, so you can get feedback right away. So you can do all of this. It really helps facilitate what's going on in your class, and it can help with some really great engagement features. There's even a student call out app here that you can enter in your different students, and it'll select a random student for you to call on. So all of those things can help you in your class. Another thing that you can do in your class is Evernote. So Evernote is fantastic because it allows you to take notes on any device. On your, you could take it on your phone, on a computer, on a laptop. You could do it virtually on one of our IU computers so that you had access to that. MS OneNote does a similar thing, but it's not online, so it's difficult to follow. But then you have your notes with you at all points in time. Google Docs has also solved the problem of collaborating, so as long as all of your group members are on the same Google Doc, you never have to worry about sending an email back and forth to each other with the most updated file. You can all be working on it at the same time. So like I said with ClassDojo, this is great because you can communicate with parents, so you can let them know what's going on every day. Remind.com is one that I use for my particular class, but other people have used it as well, which allows us to send text messages to students or parents. And a final one might be Google Calendar, so that everybody has a similar calendar and knows when things are due. The learning management softwares, like I showed you the example of Google Classroom, ClassDojo, Edmodo, there are a ton of different examples here that you can explore. Basically, it helps you grade and record how students are doing. Hopefully you've seen this in Canvas where you've seen your different grades and receive feedback that way. Some other ones are like Front Row or even Google Form, which will allow you to auto-grade quizzes. Rubrics are another thing that are fantastic. Again, something that we use in W200 to show you the different points. And there are rubric creators. So if you go to RubyStar or iRubric, these are both two websites that allow you to create rubrics for free, and they help you walk you through it. It's fantastic. Front Row is a great one because it also allows students to kind of go through it on an individual level and get feedback for what they're doing. So those are some introduction to productivity tools. And go ahead and complete Class Prep 5.